week 4 of the UFO February challenge. It is our last challenge week. Let's get into it. Okay, be honest. When you are in your sewing space, how much time do you spend looking for things? It's a problem. It can't just be my problem. I'm sure some of you out there know what I'm talking about. Which brings us to week 4's challenge, and that is cleaning out the places where junk congregates. I'm not telling you to clean your whole space. That's up to you. You keep your space the way you want. But what I am saying is, in this last week of our challenge, let's find the spaces where, like, the junk, just the drawers, the shelves, wherever the junk gets piled, and let's make them functional so that when we come in to create, we're not spending all of our time looking for stuff. We can just come in and do what makes us happy. Some of you might be thinking, Stephanie, shouldn't we have organized our spaces at the beginning of this? That would have made more sense. No. Because first of all, y'all would have looked at me like my kids look at me on Saturday morning when they're like, yay, it's Saturday. And I'm like, yay, clean your room. And maybe you wouldn't have come on this journey with me. So buy-in, that's one of the reasons we didn't do it at the beginning. But the other reason that we didn't do it at the beginning is now we have gotten our mending piles out of the way. We have gotten our unfinished gifts out of the way. We have gotten projects that we had all the stuff for but hadn't sewn yet out of the way. So now we have less stuff, hopefully, in our sewing space, and it will be that much easier for us to organize it. And then we're leaving this challenge month with a clean and organized space, ready to just do what we want to do starting next month. Or whenever you happen across this video. Maybe you're in the middle of a month. That's okay too. So I'm gonna grab my cell phone because it's easier to kind of do vloggy stuff on it, and I'm going to show you in my space where the junk hides, where it congregates and just piles up. If this is something that stresses you out and you just hate the thought of organizing a space, the first question when I go into a space that I need to organize and I know I need to revamp something, the first question I ask myself is, where can I find space? Where can I create space? Often that's going to mean getting rid of stuff that doesn't serve me anymore. I did a massive clean out of my fabric stash last year. And to be honest, there was a couple times that I was like, oh yeah, I've got this or that I could use for that project. And they were small little things that when I realized, oh, I don't have that anymore, it was not actually a big deal to go and get it. What I did find is, regardless of those small little incidents where I didn't have that thing anymore, the freedom of not carrying all that bulk of stuff all the time, it was worth it. No contest. It was worth it to not have all of that stuff just so that I would have had that one piece of lace or whatever it was. So this is really about what's functional for you. Can you find everything that you need to use? So I'm gonna grab my cell phone, like I said, we'll do some vloggy stuff. I do have a full tour of how I organize my space and everything already up on my channel. I will link that below. There's a couple things that have changed since then, so I will do a little quick run through on what has changed. And then I'll show you what is not serving me right now and what I am gonna change. Last time I did a tour of here, I had a table here and a desk over there for my kids' art tables. Obviously that's not awesome because there's bookshelves there, and we're gonna get to our bookshelves. They just really liked being in the same room as me to do their crafts, but now they just kind of craft all over the house. So, and the mess was unbelievable. So yeah, we've moved those. Something else that is new is I got this table. My husband picked it up for me at Alberta Government Surplus, and it is indeed a hospital table. So it's for hospital patients because it wheels over the hospital bed. But here's what I love about it. So it's got this crank, and you can adjust the height. So what I do is I set it at the height that is right for me when I'm sewing. And then I can leave my big table free for cutting and pinning and all that stuff. And then I usually kind of just have this table coming off this way so I can just pivot my chair. That's the other thing. I stole the chair from my office. Yes, this is the same mending pile that you would have seen me show you a couple of weeks ago. It is sitting here because I film all of my intros and outros on the same day for like a month at a time, because that's how a busy mom gets things done on the YouTube world. So yeah, those are kind of the big changes. But anyway, we're here to talk about the spaces where junk collects. So one of the main ones, this is like my filming gear, my extra sewing machine. That's the chair I sit on whenever I do my talking head stuff. That big circle thing, I just got a green screen, blue screen for doing my thumbnails. But there's like my camera cases, my cases for my lights, my case for my GoPro, the tripods, and various, things for doing the YouTubes. And usually actually this pole is right in that corner as well. That's where it stores. So this is what I hang my sheet off of, and now my green screen when I do my thumbnails. But I don't need it up there all the time, so the rest of the time it just lives in that corner. So that's a junk spot. This is my other junk spot. So my husband buys and sells antiques, and our front door is just like around the corner there. So this is the room where when things come into our house, stuff just gets dumped. And so when he brings home antiques, this is where they'll live temporarily while he's waiting to sell them. So there's, stuff like that. There is the basket of tech stuff. Everything I have for my YouTube channel has its own charger and its own batteries or duplicates thereof. And so this is all necessary, but it's not pretty. I'm not totally like, I don't know, it doesn't really bother me having this here, but all this other stuff, so like interfacing, cardstock, that's going away because we're going to be doing our vision boards, me and the kids. My paper for doing patterns, quilting batting, just the stuff that doesn't have a home. Which is why in my YouTube videos, you don't see that corner. Okay. And various other things wind up here. Like this is the like mummy can you fix it pile. So I've got books to tape back together and a headband to fix and whatnot. But the other place that I have junk collect is this drawer. So yeah, it's like she's a mess. And when I first set up my space, this was super functional to have my serger and my main sewing machine and all my thread and stuff, my bit of tools, my little tool caddy here. It worked really well. But I've done so much more sewing since starting my channel that I just have acquired more stuff. And this is not functioning well for me anymore. It's not working at all. Because even if I put everything in really nicely, if I need anything at the bottom, I just ruin the whole drawer getting to it. So I need to sort this out. Where I think I can make space is this hope chest. Everything that's in here is stuff that I pretty much don't really use anymore. Actually, hang on. I'm going to move my Gertie. You got to move and we'll show the people. Okay, so here is the inside. So I've got a whole bunch of like antique books for art journaling, which I mean is still definitely a thing I do. Oh, this is for that too. It's got like grooves cut in it because that's where when I Coptic stitch my journals together, that's my guide. But I've got like a bunch of boxes in here that I had a plan for at one time, but then my whole sewing space changed, so I don't use them. What else do I have? Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah, I was gonna redo like a bunch of lampshades, and then I don't really even use the lamps anymore. So, yeah, for making shoes, which is totally something I don't do, but I'm actually gonna hang on to those because I think they're cool. And then, what is in here? Oh, yeah, silver things. So mirrors and stuff that I've collected that I don't really have a place to display right now. So these I'll keep packed up, but I can probably, I mean, the box is too big. I can probably put these in a smaller box and put them somewhere else in my house. So yeah, this is where I'm going to make some space. And I think a lot of my cases and stuff over here that I don't need all the time, like my lights are pretty much always set up because they don't take a lot of space. So they can go in there. Probably my serger can go in there. Yeah, so that's kind of my plan. That's what I'm going to do this week for the UFO February challenge. All right, here we go. I have gotten things tidied up and organized. So there's still antique-y stuff and an amp that my husband has to fix here. I mean, like I said, this is partly a dumping ground for things that come into the house, but none of the mess that's right there is mine anymore. My t-shirt pattern, I'm still working on t-shirt hacks, so until that series is done, that pattern's just always going to be hanging there. There will always be some kind of electronics here because this is where all the things come to be charged, but it's a lot less than that great big basket that I had here. Some of the stuff I found places for elsewhere in the house, but some of it did get moved into the hope chest. Oh, my floor's like super squeaky. So I'll show you that in a moment. One thing I didn't mention on my before part of this video was I like to have my day timer up here. I always move it when I'm filming because I feel like this wall is like busy enough and I don't need more crap behind me. But if I don't spend some time just standing here with a cup of tea looking at my planner every day, I just don't get as much stuff done, and I like to make my pages pretty. If it's not pretty, I'm not going to use it. And so every week I sit down on Sunday and plan out what's happening. And so because of that, I also have supplies. And this, so I had like a pile of stickers and pens and stuff here. And what I did have was this old cutlery drawer. It's a silverware drawer. I haven't fully decided if this is what it's going to remain. I'm just trying this out for right now. So I haven't like pulled the innards out or anything. If I like this here, then I'll pull out the inside and redo it all. So my tablet goes in here. I've got my erasable pens, my extra notepad, my labels for daytimer type stuff, and then also all of the things for making it pretty. So, so far I'm liking it. So I think I'm probably going to keep it there. And clearly my wall needs to be repaired and repainted. Well, that's summertime Stephanie's problem. I don't need to worry about that right now. All right, this drawer. Ta-da! I am probably the most excited about this drawer. It's still full, yes, but mostly things are in one layer, so I can just pull out what I need. This is all like serger thread, my regular threads, antique wooden spools. I honestly just haven't found a space. I was going to put them up with my knitting needles, but that little shelf just won't hold the weight. So it's here until I figure out what to do with it. The only thing that's really layered is I have all these sewing machine feet down here. I don't know, maybe I can come up with some kind of new case for them that will hold. What happens is if I put this up on its side so that I can just slide it in, this plastic top does not stay tight enough and all the feet just kind of fall out. So until I can figure out a way that I can put that on its side, that's just gonna have to be layered. The other thing I found was that my tool caddy was so overloaded that, it still has a ton of stuff in it, but I went to the dollar store and I just got this little doodad. It has like 4 compartments and keeps everything standing upright. I have my pattern weights, my clips for quilting, and then kind of tucked in the very inside are my quilting rulers and my design rulers. So that is so much more functional and I'm so stoked about it. Next, let's take a look. So the hope chest is here, and if you remember, there was all of those like cases and stuff. So I'll move Gertie and stuff and we'll take a look in here. Okay, so here we go. In this tray here, I have all of the sewing paraphernalia that goes with that machine. Even when I use that machine, I hardly ever need any of this stuff. I also have my extra pins because I have to rotate them out when they get dull. A couple of little electrical bits and bobs for doing my filming. And then you can see I have all of my cases. I have my polyfill, which my kids have been using for making stuffed animals and stuff. My interfacings. This is the little table that goes on my main sewing machine for quilting. A couple big spools of thread that actually go on like our leather stitcher, my camera cases, and this space here is for my serger, but it is in the shop right now, but it will fit in there. In this corner, I do still have my tripods and my high chair, and actually That green screen is in there. It's just behind the curtain. Don't like it, but a curtain over it. And if we do set up for like a birthday party or Christmas or whatever, or I'm just taking a little break from filming, that stuff easily just goes down into the basement. And so yeah, everything is so much more functional, so much more tidy, and I'm so thrilled. We made it! It's the end of UFO February. We have decluttered, made more room for creativity and joy, and I really appreciated everybody who followed along with this journey and who did it themselves. I feel a lot better going into my space now, knowing that I can find the things I need to find, knowing that there's not little guilt projects kind of stashed around that I don't want to see anymore. All of that stuff is gone, and I can just be in here and find my joy, and I hope that that's what you've done too this month. I will see you next month. We're gonna do a couple things, and then we're gonna kind of get into our next deep dive, which I'm really excited about. So until then, I hope you have a great week.